And we're coming up on midnight. We're about a minute away.
The lark this Gwent. Onward to the next diversion.
The next diversion, you say? Go to the barn for the capping ceremony. We reached the end. Oh, did I not get any sort of reward for that game? That's a bummer. I guess because it's a scripted event part of a quest that they don't want to make missable cards that you can't get at all later. But I would have hoped for a reward of some kind. That's part of the influence of why I tried to win on purpose. Might have been funny to have him wearing the ears, but I got to play a Gwent game finally. I don't want to just forfeit it.
I'll leave you for a moment. As a bridesmaid, I need to be by the bride for the capping.
Go on, Shani. I'll manage fine alone. Ladies and gentlemen, this night I've tasted of life's delights so fiercely, I've decided to make a speech.
Geralt, there's no need.
So be it. If there's no demand, I shan't supply. But it would have been a beautiful speech.
It's almost midnight. Time for the capping.
You're a bridesmaid, Shani. Take your place.
The midnight chime has struck. The capping times are come. What thoughts in young hearts prance? What dreams make young blood run? Be they nice, be they vice, of jestily or lordly stance, out they'll come in this hour's dance.
Toast the lovely couple, then give them a few weeks, and we'll toast the lovely bear with his pale and puffy cheeks. Don't you mind our song? We don't sing to be unkind. We sing so we can empty yet another shrine. Brides will love eternal, bridegroom best beware, or she'll make you a gold in the coming year. What's the groom a thing in a storm of college brow? Must be said gallant, gallant, gallant cow. You get the cow, got the bull, the calf, the hay. So drink and be merry.
Some roads. Whoever caught the gallant shall be next to wed.
That really necessary?
It came rushing back in a torrent. How we caroused at Olgierd's wedding. I couldn't resist. Had to pen a few words. Will you give him the letter?
I will.
Thanks. You're a good chap, Witcher. Dull as dirt, but good.
Not every day you have to deliver a letter in your own blood.
A lovely custom. Blushing maids twirling in dance, their hair swirling freely, their bodices undone, their bouncing...
Will you stop?
Did you see it? Shani caught the garland. She'll be next to marry as peasant superstition has it.
Maybe. Doesn't matter. It's past midnight. Time for you to go back to the crypt.
I can't. I'm not finished here.
Is Vladimir's ghost gone?
You see? She asks after me. Misses me already.
I'm here, my ever-loving tulip. That kiss as we danced made my head so light. A team of hellish stallions could not tear me away before I receive one more. Or two more. Or as many as you'll give.
You seem to have enjoyed yourself. I'm glad.
A kiss. I knew it would end this way. An end that is but a beginning.
No, it's just an end. It's after midnight. Your time has come.
We needn't fret such trifles. Death's not come to claw me back, so why not continue our revels?
What's Geralt think about that? You gave your word.
Shani, darling, I'm dead. Can't expect too much from a corpse.
Vladimir von Everec, go back whence you came. Please.
Stay out of this.
Stop! I beg you! Stop!
Get ye hence, or I'll take you with me, and your mouldy crypt will look like paradise in comparison. The choice is yours.
Don't torture him.
I promise he'll not die.
Gods, what is this?
So, am I actually working for the devil?
Didn't have to make him suffer.
Of course I needn't have. But I could.
I hope you didn't hurt him.
I disposed of a pest. There was no need for you to suffer his cheek any longer. Geralt had finished his task, you see, so...
Yes, I know. As soon as he finishes one task, he needs to rush off to the next.
Who knows? Perhaps this time will be different. I saw you looking at each other, and it just so happens I also know the history you share.
You do? How?
Shani, darling, would you ask an eagle how it knows how to fly? Regardless, what matters is Vladimir von Everec will bother you no more.
I'd like to stay longer, but...
Don't make excuses, Geralt. I'm not angry. A witcher has to ply his trade, follow his path. As for me, well, perhaps I expected too much of this wedding. Got the wrong impression.
Not sure I understand.
Never mind. I should find Aldona. I am her bridesmaid, after all.
Ah, there it is. The face of a man who's failed to understand a woman.
You understand her?
Of course. Women are simple. The problem is that men are hopeless fools. Your friend will now make a show of being hurt, pick her some flowers, or bring her a drink. She'll get over it in a snap.
Rather manage without your advice, thank you.
She cares for you. You have feelings for her. Don't overthink it. Surrender to spontaneous honesty. Nothing more beautiful in human relationships. You needn't end like Aldona and Jonas. Besotted fools bound by a contract they'll never escape. Seize the night. Seize your chance. Enjoy one another. That's it. Have fun.
I'm trying to ride the line here and have her not feel hurt, but also not be keep the character true to Yennefer at the moment. Read Shani's character entry in the journal to find out what might cheer her up. What a weird quirk for the game to have. That's kind of funny. Alright, Shani, where are you? That's not the character entries. Hang on a second. All the way down here. So many characters now. Whoa. We've been busy meeting people in this adventure. Geralt entered the Oxenfurt sewers expecting to hunt down a hideous monster, so you can imagine his surprise when, down one of those dank, slimy corridors, he ran into Shani, an old and dear friend. Geralt and I had first met this extraordinary young woman years earlier, and when she was just a cottage co-ed, but by this time she had grown into a dignified doctor and a fearless field medic for the Redanian army. This latter role led her and a unit of soldier escorts to descend into the sewers. Their goal was to gather a sample of the venom spewed by the monstrosity squatted there. Geralt, a gentleman through and through, agreed to help her in her task. Geralt's encounter with Vladimir von Everec reminded him that he and Shani had once shared a passionate, though passing, feelings for each other. He also became aware of some remnant of these feelings still lodged in his heart. At times fate composes tales so shocking no poet would dare put his name to them, for fear his public would mock them for being overly outlandish. Such was the case when Geralt and the ghost of Vladimir and von Everec shared a body for an evening and accompanied Shani to the wedding of Aldona, her friend from the academy. Some might have let this unusual escort interfere with the enjoyment of the evening, but not Shani. Looking around that tasteful wedding decorations, smelling the rich odor of berry-laden Rowan, a plant near and dear to her heart, one which summoned up fond childhood memories, Shani felt the heedless abandon of her younger years return, and, overjoyed, threw herself into the thick of the festivities. One thing is certain, Shani was not bored by the company of Vladimir von Everec, who showered her with professions of burning desire and swept her off her feet with his maniacal energy. Yet, when the hour came for him to return to the netherworld, she breathed a sigh of relief, for now she could spend some time alone with Geralt, who was much more sensitive and predictable, though Vlad would probably just call him boring. So we need to find that plant, which I immediately forgot the name of, didn't I? It'll just show up in the quest log, I'm sure. New quest, A Midnight Clear. So we need to find the specific flower.
Holding tight to her hat.
See if it's just kind of stashed in the area or anything. I feel bad. I wanna have her feel less used and stuff, but also I have a thing going on with Jennifer in with this character storyline, and that seems a little problematic to just go off without. But awkwardly, Jennifer has not even been in like a dialogue option to even mention like why the distance exists. Does she even know? Because that's just going to make it more awkward.
Chamomile looks like. Pretty, I guess. Thing is, will it cheer her up? Think I'll pass.
Okay, never mind. I do need to I do need to know the exact name of the flower, which I totally forgot about while reading the paragraph after that. The exact name, so bear with me for a moment. The plant was called... Looking at Rowan. There we go. Yeah, I knew just from hearing chamomile, I'm like, well, that's not it. But also, what was it? What's this one? Can I wait, where's the plant? Where's the flower? Is it the one on the decoration? Oh, it's having me look at the alcohol. Well, that's not the flower. Rowan's a flower, right? Yeah. Down here. What's the object over here? Is that dog freaking out again? I thought we mellowed you out. Is it wearing off? He seems over it. He seems over it. A little bit of mind control on your dogs. I guess it's easier than training them, although it probably doesn't have the same long-lasting effect. Is there a flower around? Oh.
A Rowan. Shani mentioned she used to weave the berries into necklaces.
Oh,
pretty, I guess. Thing is, will it cheer her up? Fine, I'll pick some. Becoming quite the romantic.
We'll have to see if I can make this work, or if I'm gonna make this just more awkward and painful. Geralt was very busy across the books and the games, engaging with like a dozen different women, and then they just like, hey, what if we put them all in the same game? Make this really awkward. There's actually a payoff for that. They have a specific scene that happens, I believe, if you slept with all 3 of the sorceresses you could have slept with in the main campaign.
Still here? Thought you had to meet Olgierd.
You and I see each other so rarely. Figured Olgierd could wait till morning. Smile, Shani.
You remembered I liked the Rowan.
Remember a lot of things about you. Wedding's still in full swing, but your face, I'd say you were at a funeral. Why so sad?
Sad? Not really. It's just... After I caught the garland, I realized something. The years are flying by, yet all I ever do is study, pump stomachs, and reattach limbs. All alone.
You've got friends. Me, for one.
In that case, let's drink to our friendship.
To friendship.
I'm afraid the drinks got into our minstrels. Horribly off-key.
Let's go for a walk.
Good idea. Did you enjoy the wedding?
Not half bad. Might have even enjoyed myself if I hadn't had to argue with a madman's ghost, be his puppet. Gotta admit, though, thanks to him, I did experience a lot of things I might have missed otherwise.
Mean chasing a dog through the woods, or brawling, fence board in hand?
Forgetting something. There was also a kiss.
True. Though that was so clearly Vladimir. I nearly forgot you were involved at all.
His will, sure, but my body felt everything. Reminded me of the old times.
Vizima, you mean? Oh, I thought you'd forgotten our whole Catriona story.
Epidemics long forgotten, sure. But the romantic bits in that adventure? Don't plan to forget those.
You needn't worry about our finances, sir. My workshop, business is booming.
Good. I'm relieved to hear it. See, coin's tied to Torrent. But don't tell the old battle-axe. She'd be furious if she learned to let it slip.
Never you worry, sir. My lips are sealed as the grave. Us menfolk need to stick together.
Sir. Enough of that. I'm Vassy. But you can call me Dar.
Oh, thank you, Dar. I feel honoured. Let's drink on it.
Seems the families are bonding.
A bride's father and his son-in-law? Stiff at first, but add drink and they bond or slap each other silly.
I was afraid the wedding wouldn't happen at all.
Mean the differences in wealth?
Mm-hmm. Jonas's family didn't consider Aldona worthy.
Clear they love each other, though. Parents usually give in if that's the case.
Oh, I don't know. My mother would never accept an unfit beau, even if I insisted I loved him, had chosen him.
Doubt your mother's that unbending? You'd win her over, I'm sure.
I haven't managed to yet.
You only ever bring home fiddlers, jugglers, and witchers?
No, but she'd want me to choose someone wealthy, or with a good trade, well brought up.
Nothing wrong with that, is there?
I guess not, but it's hard to find one like that who's still even slightly amusing.
That's probably true.
Tell that to my mother. She actually thinks I should have found a husband at the academy. But I didn't. Ugh. I'm certain she thinks there's something horribly wrong with me.
Oh, please, Shani. It's the 13th century. Women don't go to the academy to find a husband. They go to learn, pursue their passion. You did that. I'm sure your mother appreciates it. You got a doctorate, have your own practice, been at the front lines many times. You're a good person. Not a thing wrong with you.
Really think so?
Really. Look, the brave brothers.
Drank themselves stiff as the boards they tore from the fence.
Wonder where the sister is. Couldn't protect her from a cheeky 4-year-old in their condition.
If they hadn't intervened, you'd have gone for a tumble in the hay with her. She was willing, if you ask me.
That was Vladimir, not me, remember?
But pretend for a moment it had been you. and the situation had been different. Say you're at the wedding, and that very girl keeps glancing, smiling at you. Then she finally walks up, and you know exactly what she wants. What do you do?
What the You're not making this easy for me, game. This should be a third option here. You don't have to... You're saying to pick her... You're saying to pick this random girl or Shani. I mean, obviously people are gonna pick this one, but remember the part where, like, I literally got a happily ever after, like, a week ago in that credits scene with Yennefer? God damn it.
Huh. If Dandelion was around, and he usually is, I'd introduce her to him and walk off.
I don't believe that. You'd let the opportunity pass?
I don't need opportunities like that.
Changed your style.
Let's say I've grown choosy.
You say that as if you've already picked.
'Cause I have. Guess who?
God damn it, Geralt.
Ooh, gorgeous.
Been thinking about that kiss.
What kiss?
The one Vladimir planted on your lips, with my lips. Just wondering if it would have felt any different without him there.
That I cannot tell you.
Only one way to find out.
So, how'd it compare?
Definitely rather kiss you alone, of my own free will. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe Vladimir was after more than a kiss. Said so openly, in fact.
All true. He was very direct, I'll give him that. Which, on occasion, has its advantages.
You're right. Can save a lot of time.
So, how do you stand today, Geralt? Have some time to waste with me? Or would you rather go back now?
Love to stay, I would. But we ought to get back to the wedding.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's best.
Penny for your thoughts?
Just thinking that friends should stay friends.
My feeling too.
I have a lot to think about. Alone. So I'm not going back to the wedding. Not really fond of watching drunks stagger around, anyway.
Shani, wait. Before you go, need to ask you a favor.
Yes?
It's about Olgierd. Seems a mysterious man. Can't escape the impression his story's more complicated than I thought. Could you look into it? See if you can learn something?
Sure. Be glad to.
Thanks. Be seeing you.
Yes. See you later, Geralt.
Ironically, they're talking about not quite having total control of the situation, and him being like controlled by a phantom and not being able to like control himself with a kiss. But oddly enough, I kind of got backed into a situation where I kind of didn't have full control, unless I wanted to just outright say, "No, I prefer this random woman over you." It's like, no, this is weird. They put so much They put so much care into those, like, romantic scenes. It's just a little strange that these, they're oddly not acknowledged. Like, there's no, like, they did such a good job with the Yennefer quest with the djinn and everything that it's strange that that isn't even being accounted for here. And it's especially weird because this is, like, you try to place this in the timeline, which is difficult to the point of, like, you can almost say that this DLC seems non-canon with how hard it is to place in the timeline. It takes place after Radovid's dead, because we acknowledge that Radovid's dead in the dialogue. That means that it takes place in the final chapter of the main campaign, because you can't even trigger the mission to go kill Radovid until, like, right at the end, because you need to have the blind sorceress there, Philippa Eilhart. So you can't even do that till, like, right before the end of the game. But the end of the game has various conclusions for The Witcher's story, which implies that you're done there. So this takes place in, like, the last hour of the open world area. Like, they just sort of slipped this whole campaign in here. So at that point, in my story especially, it takes place chronologically after the scene where, like, me and Yennefer confess our love after we break the Jinn's curse and everything like that. So that's a little awkward. We have new documents. I might as well check them while we're in the area. Contract. Apprentice gone missing. Good folk. My apprentice Folkert has disappeared without a trace. I am terribly worried about him, so whoever finds him and brings him back shall receive a sizable sum of Novigrad crowns. If you're interested, come to my hut on the outskirts of Oxenfurt. If you lose your way, ask passing peasants where the local herbalist has his practice, and they'll guide you. Otto Bamber Herbalist. I think I gathered all of the notices during the main campaign, so that might be a DLC, a side quest. Beware of knights in red plate. A plague's descended on our lands of late, an infestation more vile than that of any vermin. Renegade knights from the Order of the Flaming Rose have chosen to make our fair terrain their devilish stomping grounds. Now no man can feel safe here. These so-called knights act as common highway bandits. They steal men's crops and befoul any lasses who's worth their trouble. We've sent writs of complaint to the sheriff, but he still comes with an army to clear... But till he comes with an army to clear off these mongrels, best avoid these parts if at all possible. Quick Willie, for mighty thirsts. Best made around. Any man who considers himself a fine judge of fine drinks, come see Bill, better known as Quick Willie. This summer's been a warm one, and the meadows are all abloom. So, we've a bumper crop for honey, whether it's double mead you crave, or you've yearning for a tripe, Quick Willie's got you covered. Gomes and bros and carpentry services, speedy and solid workmanship, furnishings in Novigrad style, dining tables, canopy beds, alcove accessories, and larder ware, all for prices that can't be beat. Our customers hail from Oxenford itself. Want to dine like a duchess? Go see the Brothers Knit Games. Prayer services in Brunwick. All souls who yearn to banish foul forces from their midst, come gather around the upper mill. Ernest Gricko, a wandering man of spiritual powers, will exorcise the ghost of the alderman's wife, who harries our lands and has clearly claimed our chapel as her own. If you do come to pray with Reverend Gricko, remember to bring your own candles. Tinker, cheap. Greetings. Name's Krister Hagen. Tinkering's my trade. I've hung out a shingle here in Morin, at a man named Sherrick's place. I'm renting a room from him, so stop on by. I can guarantee you the best workmanship for unbeatable prices. So remember, Morin, Krister Hagen, Tinker, cheap. Alright, what's that new quest then? Are we gonna get a name? Without a trace. Let's take a quick glimpse of that. Is that a DLC mission? Let's go to the auction house, and that's... Alright, that's about the house, and that's the party. Without a trace. Yep, that's a Hearts of Stone quest. Alright. I'm probably going to do that next episode, but for now, let's cap this one off by meeting up with Olgierd about the events that just happened. Might as well conclude this particular sub-storyline. Subplot is what you call that. Not what the fuck am I talking about? Alright, Olgierd, I've done the impossible. I believe you underestimated me. Although, let's not...
Let's have a crook in its head from time to time.
Like I kicking a barrel? Like I was kicking a barrel. Alright, maybe I shouldn't play myself up too high, because then he's just going to try to make the third one truly impossible. Since he hasn't even told me what it is yet, he could still change his plan.
What are they doing?
Playing. Overgrown wains, you see. Have you any children, Geralt?
None.
Oh, yes. Forgot witches are sterile. Well, don't just stare at me. Tell me what brings you.
Your band. Chosen some interesting specimens.
Interested? How so? Common carousers and roughnecks. Every last one.
Where'd you dig them up?
Some have been with me ages. Others I gathered on the road. And a few found me themselves. They're company for drink and sport, at least. And ever since I began travelling with them, my old enemies have sat quiet as moles.
First time I've seen a saber like that. What's its origin?
A fear. It was a gift. Any soft-armed craven can hang a blade from his belt, prance about feigning danger, but my saber's a promise. If I reach for it, heads will roll. Mere sight of it quells the urge to duel, in shavers eager to face Olgierd von Everec, the infamous outlaw.
My medallion seems to think it's magic.
It thinks, eh? And I think you've never seen a better weapon.
Keep wondering how you turned the Ophiri into a beast. The more I think about it, the more I'm sure it was no run-of-the-mill curse.
This professional curiosity, or nosiness as common as the clap?
Desire to improve. Information could prove useful down the line.
In the future, you under the delusion you'll complete your tasks, live happily ever after.
Remains to be seen. So for now, admit it. A mage helped you, right?
I'll give you a hint. You're not the only one to fulfill wishes around here.
Dim transformed the Ophiri? It was your wish?
Nay. It was my doing alone. But you're right. It was no ordinary curse. Though I'll say no more. A curse I uttered in a moment of rage, with no thought to it actually taking hold.
Tell me, how'd you meet the Ophiri you turned into a beast?
Aren't you a nosy one?
What's it matter? You like to talk about yourself.
That I cannot deny. Ophiri was a dauphin on a voyage through lands unknown, to learn of their cultures and customs. He fell for a lass. As it happened, this woman was already important to me. But at the time, I was naught compared to a noble from a foreign land. So her parents promised her hand to the Ophiri, though she loved me. If you'd only seen his feeble attempts at charm. When she asked why he travelled disguised as a common merchant, he said he was like the frog from the fairy tale. One kiss from her, and he turned into a prince. Wanted to be a frog. Became a frog.
Vladimir sends his love.
You spoke to him? Impossible.
Did more than that. Fulfilled your wish. And talked to him extensively. Curious what he had to say? Fulfilled your wish. Your dead brother had himself one more day like those of old.
Very easy to say. But have you got any proof?
I do.
Vladimir's hand. It's unmistakable. You've done well, Witcher. Is that all? Or have you something else?
Gonna work on getting you Borsodi's house next.
Best of luck. Enjoy.
Alright, just need to figure out how to shepherd a house around now. And yes, I was teasing you guys by selecting every option around the option that I was trying to go for. Yeah, I saw that Gwent option, and I think that's going to be how we start the next episode, guys, along with doing that side quest that I just found. It'd be a nice little interim before we start the next main story mission. Thanks for watching, guys, like always, and I'll see you next time.